What's up everybody, welcome to BalkanMoto. Today we continue with the walls in the garage. Alright, the first wall we're going to try to deal with is this one here. So we have a whole bunch of scuffs and screws to cover up, as well as the big seams that run across all the way and then up that way and up there. I will need to ideally do the corners up the top, but I'll leave that for last. So without further ado, let's actually start doing this. We're gonna move the bikes out just so I have room to work, and move this fluff ball out of here as well. Alright, so these are the tools that I have. We have two different size spatulas, some tape for the seams, and some compound for filling in the gaps. So given that I didn't buy a big spatula to really even things out, might have a little bit harder of a time to get the seams nice and even. So first let's focus on covering up all the screw holes on the wall. Alright, all the little screws are patched up, except for the ones that are on the seams. I've also patched up the where the shells used to be. So now let's start by doing the long seam across with some of that tape. I got the mesh style drywall tape. So it has an adhesive on it, so I don't need to do a pre-coat. I can just lay it down and then spread the compound over it. So let's tape that on and get on with it. vertical seam is taped. Now let's do the other long horizontal one that goes up there. I'll probably have to close the garage to deal with that. And then we have what? We have that one up there and the corners left after that. And this wall is ready for drying. Once it's sanded, then we're going to do another coat on top of the taped areas, just to make sure that everything's even, and that will be it. So I have everything taped on this side. However, after trying to do some of the mudding up there in the corner, turns out it's incredibly difficult to do with just 2 flat spatulas. So I'm gonna go to Home Depot and grab one of those corner spatulas to do that. I might even grab a 6 or an 8-inch one, just so I can smooth out the big tape across the wall. But in the meantime, we're gonna focus on this wall and do the flat tape here, across and up there, and cover up all the little holes from the nails, the big hooks that were on the wall, and plaster up the ones from the shelves at the back. All right, so after a trip to Home Depot, I got one of these. This is incredibly helpful for corners, as well as a 10-inch spatula for the next layer that we're going to be putting on afterwards to nicely even out everything. And I was actually able to do the vertical here, the horizontal up top, all the way the vertical on that side. That little guy, there's a little guy here, and the top there. So this wall's first coat of taping and budding is all in there. So I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, the top is now taped and mudded. So is this entire side here. All the ones on the walls are patched up. The bottom of the wall is also patched up, and we have the existing holes there patched up where the hose used to be. That's also patched up. On this side, we have all the shelf ones patched up, and of course, the central vac holes are also filled in. So now it's just a matter of waiting until all of this dries so we can sand it and do it all over again. Okay, everything is sanded. I'm covered in dust. And here we go with the second coat. All right, I ran a coat on the horizontal, patched up a little bit of the small ones. I did this vertical one up to about yay there. Did the corner up to about there. Repatched all of these and the central vac outlet, all the little holes here, and some of that. All the stuff that's above the garage door I have not done yet, simply because I ran out of plaster. So I'll need to go buy some more and continue with this afterwards. Everything is now plastered with a second coat. Go. Even I think it's looking a lot better in here. So now to let all of this dry again, sand it, and we're gonna evaluate if it needs a third coat. If not, we're just gonna do paint all over it. All right, second coat is sanded. I was hoping that this coat would do the job, but there's still some imperfections. Like, I don't know if this will come up, but see these ones here? Like, yeah, I could sand them more, but then it'll indent the whole thing. So there's a few more of these that I should probably even out. Otherwise, they're gonna show up in the paint. So there's areas like this where it didn't get full coverage. And it seems like up near the top, the thicker layers of plaster are still curing, even though it's been more than 24 hours. So we're gonna leave that for another day or so. And then I'm gonna come back to it and do a little bit more detailed plastering, and then a final sand after that, and then we can start with the paint. The idea is that we do the ceiling first. That all the little bits that I wasn't too happy with are all patched up. We're actually gonna start painting the ceiling. So first thing, I'm gonna set up a little tray of paint, and I'm gonna cut the corners, as they call it, or paint the edges of this corner here, and cover the hatch to the attic. Once we have the edges, my goal is to then start painting with the roller and cover things more so. For the light fixtures, I'm not going to tape them up right now, so even if I get some paint on them, that's fine. I am going to be replacing them anyways, so I'm not too worried about that. So we're just gonna boom boom. For the paint, we're gonna be using the what's this? Oh, it's French. Loader. Okay, so this is interior flat black paint for the ceiling. So we'll get that industrial look going in here. So let's set things up. I opened up the hatch and painted the corners. I wasn't too careful because I know I'm going to be painting the walls anyway, so that's when we're going to do the nice clean line with the gray. So that's the first coat of the edges up until here. Now let's do the roller and cover up the rest of that space. Okay, first, what is that? Just under a quarter has its first black coat. It's already looking a lot better. I mean, my paint job is not the greatest, but it's only the first coat. So we're gonna do 2 coats on there. The light already looks brighter here than it does here. The flat black is actually, I don't know if it looks brighter. Right now it's wet paint, so we'll see how it is once the paint dries into its flat, non-shine color. Let's do the edges there and up here to the same spot. All right, and the other part is done. So we have about just under half, about 40% of the ceiling has 1 coat of black. All right, this is the next day after the first coat of flat black has dried out. This actually looks really good. I'm still going to paint these frames black and all this framing stuff here and down there. And I've taken off the hatch to kind of figure out a better solution for it, but we'll talk about that at another time. Today we're gonna do another coat of black, and that'll be it for... Okay, and with the second coat of paint, this is what it looks like. It still needs to dry, but yeah, the finish is really nice. All right guys, that was it for this episode. Make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications when new videos become available. Check me out on Instagram at BalkanMoto 2018, and make sure to check out BalkanMoto.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.